Hello friends, welcome to StudyIQ. Through this video, we will analyze the controversy surrounding the Finance Bill 2017. The controversy basically has arisen because of the fact that many provisions which should not have been the part of the Finance Bill or the Money Bill for that matter have been incorporated into the Finance Bill and have been passed through the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha even to bypass the scrutiny by the Rajya Sabha. So we will delve a little deeper and see what the controversy is. We will have to see first of all that the finance bill presently under the controversy is just the finance side or the receipt side of the budget. If we have a look at this table, we can see that there are two sides of the budget. Budget as such is not, as a word, is not mentioned under our constitution. It is the annual financial statement which is mentioned in the constitution. Now there are two sides of annual financial statement or budget under Article 112. One side is income side or receipt side and the other side is expenditure side. When we see the income side, this finance bill basically deals with the rates of taxes every year. The government first determines its expenditure. That is expenditure the government is going to incur on roads or on health and various other welfare schemes. So after determining the expenditure, government tries to finance it through finance bill by increasing or decreasing the rates of taxes or by determining the disinvestment limits for a particular year or ascertaining the revenue or expecting the revenue from the sale of 3G or 2G spectrum. So these are the things the government takes into account and puts them into a finance bill. So it is this finance bill which is being talked about in this controversy, and let us be clear that this is just a form of money bill only. The provisions related to this money bill are given under Article 110 of our constitution, and provisions related to finance bill are given under Article 107. So please don't get confused that this is the finance bill given under Article 107. This is money bill only, but it is being labeled as finance only and only because of the fact that it aims to finance the expenditure side. That is, it aims to finance the expenditure that the government plans to incur in any particular financial year. That is, this year is 2017-18. 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2018 is the finance year, this year which is going to start from 1st April. Now government is trying to finance this expenditure, and to legitimize this levying of taxes, government passes a finance bill. So it is this finance bill only. Moving forward, now what's the problem? The problem essentially is that government does not have a requisite number in the Rajya Sabha. So this is Rajya Sabha and this is Lok Sabha. Government says in Lok Sabha we have more than sufficient numbers, that is 282 seats government is having in Lok Sabha. But in Rajya Sabha, if we talk about NDA, that is the alliance which forms the government, having only 78 to 79 seats. You can say 80 seats for that matter, and it requires at least 120 seats in Rajya Sabha to get the legislative agenda passed through Rajya Sabha as well. We all know that with respect to ordinary bills, both the houses, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, have equal powers. And in case a bill passed by Lok Sabha is not approved by the Rajya Sabha, then Article 108 comes into play. That is, joint sitting is requisitioned by the President. Article 108. So that is very difficult. But when it comes to money bills, Lok Sabha has been given an upper hand in the sense that Rajya Sabha can stop the money bill from passage only for 14 days. And with respect to money bills, Rajya Sabha can only discuss the bills and make its recommendations on the bill, and it cannot amend the bill. After 14 days, whatsoever recommendations the Rajya Sabha has made, the bill goes to Lok Sabha, and it is up to the Lok Sabha if it accepts the recommendations by the Rajya Sabha or not, and passes the bill in the original form or the amended form. It is up to the Lok Sabha entirely. So this is the reason that taking the advantage from money bill provision, the government is now trying to incorporate certain provisions which should have ideally been in the ordinary laws into the finance bill or money bill. So if we see here, government has incorporated certain provisions, ordinary provisions, not the financial provisions given under Article 110, the ordinary laws under this finance bill, and have labeled this finance bill as money bill, and have got those other things also passed through the Rajya Sabha. what are these ordinary things? We can see the Amendment to Tribunals Act. Various tribunals are there, like TRAI is there, TDSAT is there. So various tribunal powers have been, powers have been tinkered with. Appointment powers, the government has accrued to itself various powers of tribunals. And we can say this Companies Act, lifting the cap that was there in the Companies Act 2013 on corporate funding of political parties. It was just 7.5%. We will deal with it in detail. So these general provisions have been incorporated into the finance bill and have been passed in a hush-hush manner through Rajya Sabha as well, so that Rajya Sabha cannot halt these provisions in case these provisions are passed as an ordinary bill. So they have been injected into the money bill itself. So this is the entire controversy. Now, to bypass the scrutiny by Rajya Sabha, government has labelled the provisions which should have been in the ordinary bill have been incorporated in the money bill and have been presented as a money bill as a whole. So that is the controversy surrounding. Now let's have a look at what these these lines have to say. Opposition parties say that it is a fraud on constitution as it introduced 40 non-financial changes into the various laws across the spectrum. When we say various laws across the spectrum, it means laws of variety as much as Companies Act 2013, then Tribunals Act, then making the Aadhar mandatory for PAN card. Now these non-financial changes should not have been brought through the money bill, because with respect to money bills, Rajya Sabha, that is the second chamber, that is the first chamber of the parliament, does not have the same powers as that of the Lok Sabha. So our constitutional fathers, they gave equal powers to both the houses with respect to ordinary bills. So when ordinary bills, ordinary provisions are inserted in the money bill, it is just to evade the scrutiny by the Rajya Sabha, which is not the case, and we says in the constitution of our country. So that is the lamentation of the opposition, and that is the line that is revolving in various editorials across the spectrum. So you can say this is the controversy that surrounds. Now we can have the look at other slides. Why these amendments should not have been brought through money bill? We can read them one by one. Because this being a money bill, it cannot be amended by Rajya Sabha, as we have seen earlier. Second thing is, Rajya Sabha can only make recommendations. With respect to money bills, it can only make recommendations. Whereas if this amendment to Companies Act 2013, had this been brought as a separate bill altogether, this would have been an ordinary bill, and the opposition in the Rajya Sabha could have debated it left, right and center. So that has not happened now, because this has been inserted in the money bill itself, and it could not even be amended by the Rajya Sabha. Now that is the concern of the mainstream media here. Rajya Sabha must return the money bill within 14 days. Whereas in case of the other bills, had the amendment to tribunals bill been introduced as an ordinary bill, then what would have happened? They won't have let the the government amend the tribunals bill. What would have happened? Deadlock. Article 108 and joint sitting would have been called for. So this is the lamentation again here, that why are you passing the ordinary laws as money bill? Essentially, afterwards the Lok Sabha can pass the bill without accepting the recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha, with or without, but normally what has happened, we have seen yesterday that Lok Sabha passed the amendments, the recommendations, it altogether rejected the recommendations made by the Lok Sabha and have passed the bill as such, which was sent to the Rajya Sabha. Before it was sent to the Rajya Sabha, it has been passed in the original form as such, without incorporating any of the recommendations made by Rajya Sabha to the finance bill. Now let us have a look at this slide. First of all, remember, nothing of this sort happened. Nobody is saying to anybody that I have got 50, you have got only 56 seats in Rajya Sabha. It is just for the sake of your understanding. Here, Honorable PM is, for instance, saying that in Lok Sabha I have 282 seats. I have majority. I can get the legislative agenda passed through the Lok Sabha. And Rajya Sabha, here the opposition member is saying you have got only 56 out of 250 seats. You cannot let the legislative agenda pass through with respect to ordinary bills. So when it comes to ordinary bills, powers are equal. When it comes to money bill, this is the entire theme which runs through this entire video of 20-30 minutes, that it is the money bill, the labeling of ordinary provisions into the money bill, that is at the center of controversy. I am repeating again and again. Now, just to bypass this number crunch in the Rajya Sabha, because they don't have sufficient numbers, if we take the entire number of NDA, this alliance of BJP and other parties, they have got at around 79 to 80 seats, you can say. So only these seats, whereas the majority in the Rajya Sabha requires 126, 50%. So they cannot get the legislative agenda approved through the Rajya Sabha as smoothly as they can do it in the Lok Sabha. We can see it through the numbers. So that is the reason that government, in order to get its legislative agenda approved by the parliament, in a parliamentary democracy, the government comes from the Lok Sabha. And in order to get its legislative agenda approved, both the houses have to pass the bill. But since in Rajya Sabha government does not have the numbers, it cannot get the legislative agenda approved. So this is at the center of this controversy. Now, what are the key objectionable amendments? We have seen the principle. The principle is passing the ordinary bills provision as the money bill provisions. So that is the principled criticism of this Finance Bill 2017. Now let us see the facts, the objectionable elements, the objectionable amendments incorporated into the Finance Bill 2017. The power over appointments, reappointments, removal and tenure of chairpersons and members of various tribunals. Tribunals, as we know, are semi-judicial bodies. They sit over some issues which are of judicial nature. To compromise with their powers, to amend their procedure of their appointment or reappointment or removal or tenure of chairpersons, we should have debated this bill, these amendment bills to various tribunals acts at length and breadth through both the houses of the parliament. But this debating thing has been obviated because of the fact that has been bypassed, because of the fact that this has been passed through the Rajya Sabha as a money bill provision. So this has been bypassed. Now we have to see that tribunals perform an important function in a democracy. They hold the government accountable. We can see if TDSAT is there or TRAI is there. This is just an example. If, for example, BSNL, that is a government-owned telecom company, if BSNL, there is some 2G or 3G spectrum, scam has occurred, and BSNL staff and other officers are held to be accountable. Now, this TDSAT or any other tribunal, which are mainly manned by judges, the retired judges of Supreme Court or High Court, they have held these persons guilty, the BSNL members. Now, government is appointing the judges. Earlier, there used to be like leader of opposition as a member. The committee which used to select the tribunal members, it used to consist of this Prime Minister, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, then Lok Sabha Speaker and Chief Justice of India or any of its representative, as we have seen in the case of Lokpal. So there are various other tribunals as well. CAT is there, Central Administrative Tribunal, which looks after the promotion, transfer of various IAS officers and their career progression. So if we take the example of TRAI, you imagine for a while that this TRAI members, which were earlier appointed by the selection committee comprising of PM, leader of opposition and CJI or its representative. Now this committee, the power to change the tribunals, the composition of this committee has been given to the government directly. So had this bill of changing the committee composition, had this provision been introduced in the ordinary bill, it would have taken it would have been dealt or debated thoroughly in the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both, and Rajya Sabha would have probably introduced certain amendments to these legislations which are envisaging the change of the power in the change in the power of the government to implement these changes, to appoint the members of these tribunals. But that is not the scene now. These have been passed through the Rajya Sabha in a hush-hush manner. The other provisions are lifting of the donations cap to political parties by private companies. Earlier, this was just the 7.5% of the average profit of 3 years. We will see it through an example. Suppose a company A This company has earned a profit of 10,000 crore rupees averaging for last 3 years. So now this can only donate 750 crore rupees in a particular year to various political parties. 7.5% that comes out to 750 crore rupees. Now this cap has been lifted. The result of lifting of this cap is that now this company A can donate any amount of money to any political party. This cap was, comprising the donations to all the political parties. 750 rupees, be it to, 25 crores to party A, 27 crore to party B, and then 35 crores to party C. Now this cap is that, this cap has been lifted. Now even the company can, donate even 10,000 crore rupees to all the political parties. The opposition is saying that the benefit of this goes mostly to the political party in power, because what the political party can do, it would come out with the favorable policy for company A and would ask the company A to give in return as political donation to the political party. So 200 crore rupees they might ask for as a donation to the political party in power in the government, for getting the favorable policy outcomes from the government. So this is the charge of the opposition, that this will result in political corruption rather than political cleansing. What is the need of lifting the cap? This cap was, debated by Dinesh Goswami committee and various other committees on electoral reforms. And after that also the government has, come out and removed the cap altogether. And opposition parties say this benefits the party in power the most, that is the party in government at present. Tomorrow it might be Congress, today it is BJP. So it is going to benefit the BJP in the coming years, till the time it is in power. Tomorrow it might benefit some other political party which is in power, and that is the case in various states as well. So we are talking about center as of now. See, there are two things. One thing is this provision has been incorporated into the money bill, which should not have been. Money bill, or this thing, deals with the relations between the government and legislature and the executive. So this is the nature of the dealing with respect to money bill. When you are introducing any bill, or you can say changing the relationship between two mutual parties. At one hand we have got political parties, and on the other hand we have got private companies. So to regulate these provisions, why are you labeling any bill as a money bill? It should have been labeled as just an ordinary bill, and the debate should have occurred in both the houses of the parliament equally, with equal powers. Third is provision of anonymous funding to political parties. Now there is a provision in the finance bill which says anonymous funding. Now the funding of political parties would be anonymous through electoral bonds. This too has been introduced through finance bill. Now what is this provision is, suppose this is party B and you want to donate rupees 10,000 to this party B. You as a donator would go to the designated bank and would buy a bond, electoral bond it is labeled as, and buying the bond you would give this bond to the political party, and political party, as and when it needs funds, it can go to the bank and redeem that bond. It can tell the bank, you keep this bond and give me the money. So this way what has happened is the identity of the donator need not be disclosed. Now what was the case, if any company intends to donate funds to the political parties, it has to tell it in its profit and loss account, the company's accounts, that it has donated this much funds to this political party. But now onwards, this anonymous funding provision has been incorporated, that if company A is donating 200 crore rupees to political party B, or political party C for that matter, or Z for that matter, then that funding need not be disclosed. As to how much funds have been given to which party need not be disclosed separately. It can only tell that it has, out of 10,000 crore rupees, it has donated 1500 crore rupees or 3000 crore rupees to various political parties. It need not bifurcate into party A, party B and party C thing. So what is the benefit of this thing? The benefit is that in case this company A gave more funds to party A, Whereas after the elections, party B comes to power, then party B won't take revenge from the company for not paying it more money and paying more money to its opposition party, that is the competitive party, that is party A. So this would result in, anonymous funding would result in this protecting the identity of the donator, and thereby not letting the donator being victimized after the electoral results going in different directions. So this is one thing, anonymous funding thing, and electoral funding provision has also been introduced through this provision. The bill makes Aadhar mandatory for permanent account number. So this is in fact a good thing, I feel, because if Aadhar is being made mandatory, then people holding multiple PAN cards would now be scrutinized, and they can no longer hold multiple PAN cards hereafter, because Aadhar is unique number. You can have only one biometric detail, and on the basis of one biometric detail, if you have to share this detail for application of PAN, you can have only one PAN card. So this would result in non-evasion of income tax by people holding multiple PAN cards. My other point, if we have to analyze it in a different way, when payment of taxes is not a fundamental duty under Article 51, then why are you seeking the biometric details? We are not compulsorily required to pay taxes. But yes, under Income Tax Act 1961, we are duty bound. Any person who earns any income is required to have a PAN card. But if you want to mention as a counterpoint in your answer sheets, you can say that it is not our fundamental duty. When Swaran Singh committee had recommended the fundamental duties, new fundamental duties, it had recommended the incorporation of payment of taxes as a fundamental duty, but it was rejected by the government. So just for the sake of point, you can mention that it is not a fundamental duty to pay the tax. Then why should I or any citizen share my PAN card details with the government? This is just for the sake of point we are mentioning. Otherwise, it's a good move, because it would prevent the people hiding their income through multiple PAN cards. Power of income tax. Fifth point is power of income tax authorities to raid any premises without assigning any reason. This provision too has been incorporated into the Finance Bill 2017, which says that any income tax authority, if it feels like raiding your premises, it can come and raid your premises without assigning any reason. There has to be some reason for income tax authorities for raiding the premises up till now, that is up till 31st of March. From tomorrow onwards, this provision would go, because now onwards the income tax officials need not assign any reason to the assessee. The raid could be conducted only on the basis of some credible proof. I would give you an example. When you are riding on a bike, a traffic policeman can stop you only on the first sign visible of an offense. If you are not wearing any helmet, if the number plate is not proper, or if you have crossed any red light, or you have crossed the signal, only then can a traffic cop ask you to stop, until and unless there is a general checking going on. So similarly, income tax authorities can raid any premises only at the visibility of the first sign of offense. If there is a credible evidence that yes, this person is having black money, or if this person is indulging in any illegal activity, only then can the income tax authorities raid. But now onwards, they need not assign any reason whatsoever for raiding your premises. So this is we have landed back into the tax Raj, the license Raj thing, which used to happen during the 1980s and before 1990s, you can say. These changes to IT Act also have given powers to authorities to seize any property that is not even a part of raid. This example is, for instance, I as an income tax official raided your house, or raided anybody's house, don't get offended please, raided anybody's house, and then I raided the house on the pretext of the fact that I have got an information that you smuggled gold. But when I came there searching for gold, I found your car, the BMW car, standing in your house. I found it to be quite good for me or for the seizure purpose. So I took away the car, telling that, see, my point has been proven that this person smuggled gold on the basis of the fact that he has got a BMW car, or he has got an Audi car. So this thing, the property which is not even a part of the raid too could be seized by the income tax authorities now hereafter, because this amendment has given such a vast power to the income tax authorities. Now, brief note on Speaker's power to label any bill as a money bill. A bill could be called as a money bill if it contains only, under our Article 10 and 110 of the Constitution, the word only is mentioned, whereas in Britain, from where we borrowed most of these provisions, word only is not mentioned. So our Speaker should have been duty bound to read the definition of the Article 110, but this has not been done in this case, and Supreme Court has also stood behind the Speaker in various cases, the recent one being 2014 case. You can take down the name of the case if you want. The case name is Muhammad Saeed Siddiqui versus State of UP 2014. In this recent case, the Supreme Court held that the decision of the Speaker to label any bill as a money bill is final and it is not subject to judicial review. So, judiciary for now has stood behind the Speaker's decision, this constitutional provision, that Speaker's decision under Article 110 to label any bill as a money bill is final and is not subject to judicial review. So this is the same as the Supreme Court's judgment in case of Raja Rampal versus Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha 2007. So these two cases the Supreme Court has held this thing, but a case is pending in the Supreme Court, petitioned by Jairam Ramesh, the opposition, hailing from the opposition party, telling that Speaker's decision should be commensurate with the definition given in Article 110. If it is not, commensurate, is not in sync with the definition given under Article 110, it should be subject to judicial review. So Supreme Court said that we will, the next hearing will be held in the month of May 2017. So we will have to wait for this judgment. Till that time, this point is for analyzation, that yes, Speaker's power is being used in a wrong way just to get the legislative agenda passed through both the houses of the parliament. Now, having dealt with this thing, I would like to mention why have situations come to this thing, that constitutional provisions are being misused to bypass the one or the other house, the Rajya Sabha in this case. Why? Because there we see there has been constant deadlock. Every time we see the Rajya Sabha is in, not letting the bills pass through it, and hence the government, which has been given the power to carry forward its legislative agenda, is found to be helpless. So when these things happen in a democracy, the parliamentary democracy, certain extra constitutional things come into play, and this is one part of it, one aspect of it, that this power of the Speaker is being used in an extra constitutional way to get the legislative agenda approved through the parliament, that is both the houses. But we have to find out the solutions to resolve the parliamentary deadlock. This cannot continue. And if we say why is it continuing, because in the competitive politics arena, the political parties take a rigid stand on any issue. They don't go behind the merits of the issue. That when it happened in case of GST bill, even if it was a biggest reform of this decade, we can say, but there was a consensus between the two sides, that is the government and the opposition parties. This should be the criteria for letting the bills or not letting the bills pass through the parliament. So this should be the criteria, and the criticism or blockage of any laws, blocking the any law, should be based on constructive criticism rather than criticism for the sake of it. This is the way out. Otherwise, any political party, be it party A or party B or party C, this thing will happen. They will have to resort to the extra constitutional measures to get the legislative agenda passed through the parliament, because the government has been given the mandate by the people to carry forward its legislative agenda. If government cannot stand on its own promises, then there is no use for having the government. So this thing has to be balanced. The positions that the political parties take should be calculated on the basis of the constructive criticism, the constructive approach, rather than just blocking a law for the sake of it, for gaining the political mileage. So thank you guys, hope you like this video. In case you want to suggest any improvement, please give your suggestions in the comment section below this YouTube video. Thank you.